All right. Hello and welcome to this Wacom webinar on a wonderful Wednesday afternoon. Thank you for joining us today. I can assure you it's going to be a fantastic webinar that we've got lined up for you with Prudence for you today. But before we jump into the webinar, just let me share some housekeeping rules with you. The next slide should be popping up in a second. There we go. So the webinar is going to last for roughly 1 hour, give and take. And we will have time for Q&A questions that you might have towards the end. Please use the Q&A feature for the questions. That makes it much easier for us to answer some of the questions already on the fly and then compile them towards the end and make it much, much easier to answer. So try to use the Q&A function of Zoom for your questions and do not raise hands and stuff like that. As I said, we will probably answer most of the questions towards the end. If not, we will share an email after this webinar in a few days with a summary of the webinar, link to the video, and answer any kind of open questions that might remain in there as well. Yeah, and also stick to the end because we might have a little surprise for you when it comes to discounts on our eStore, so it is definitely worth waiting till the very end. For your experience, if you're new to Zoom, do check out the speaker view and the gallery view functions of Zoom so that you have both the actual shared screen and also the over-the-shoulder cameras of Prudence. Play around, it's Zoom, you cannot break it, just make it fit your needs. There should be a little slider between the shared screen and the actual video cameras that will allow you to increase the size of the respective screens. So, who are we? Some of you might know Wacom. We've been around for a few years. We're a pioneer of digital pen input technology. We've been around for 40 years. So every time where you need to work on a computer and you're stuck with a mouse or a trackpad and that's not going to do the job, then you might want to switch to a Wacom tablet. Yes, and for the rest of you who know us, you probably have your experience with us. So welcome to this webinar. And I would like to hand over to Prudence Geerts. She's an artist, an author, and comic illustrator. She made the switch to full-time freelance illustrator, and she's going to talk about that step and what it takes. And she's going to talk about coloring in Photoshop. And without much ado, Prudence, this is for you.
Okay, so hi guys. Let me share my screen there for a second so you can already have an idea of what I'm going to do. Okay, I want to see everyone in chats. Hold on. I already saw a few that I'm really excited about. Let me see. Mati, hello. Hi, how are you? How is everyone? I recognize Robert, Alexandra. Hey guys. So today I'm going to talk a bit about how to transition from a full-time day job to a full-time art career. And I'm going to, in the meantime, try to keep it all together. And I'm going to be drawing on my Wacom One tablets. If you're familiar with the tablets, it's a new one. You can also adjust it to your Android phone. Wow. This is starting off really good. And actually I already did the base layers on this illustration, and I'm going to be shading it mostly and maybe adjust, twist and tweak here and there a little something about the base colors. Hi Clearas, hello guys. So if you have any questions for me, feel free to put them in the Q&A section. When you just look at the toolbar below, you will be able to see that. Dora, hello, hello. How are you doing? How are you? So I hope you all enjoy this. I'll just be drawing. I'll be talking a little bit. Reira, hello. I don't know if you guys are already a bit familiar with my work, but I am a freelance artist. Actually, freelance would be the wrong term, because freelancing means you're working for a company or you're working on projects. Thank you, Surabi. Thank you so much. Zan, hello. Mike Felix, guys, Fatima. We have so many of my patrons are here. So many of my followers on Instagram are here. I'm very, very honored. For everyone who don't know me, I am mostly I'm not working for companies most of the time anymore. If I am really, really happy about how a company is working and is acting towards the artists, like right now, this is a rare happening, and I am now working together with Wacom on this one, and I've been so amazed by how well Wacom is treating the artists. But I have been cutting off ties with many of the companies that I've worked before, and I am fully living off of Patreon right now, but that wasn't always the case. I'm from Colombia and bought a Wacom tablet on quarantine after seeing your amazing work. What? Thank you so much, Katerina. Thank you. Griffin, hello. Emma, hello. Hey guys. Mario Lane, hi. It's so nice to see you. Sarah, hi, hi. So many familiar faces, guys. I'm really honored that we're here with so many. I don't know if I can see the count still. Wait, let me try to see. 164 people are here. Oh my gosh, it's Pom. Pom, okay. Pom, I want you to share your Instagram, please. People need to see your work. I promised you to do that. Please do. Pom is amazing. She's also a fellow streamer. I am really so passionate about my community. I feel like there's so much work that is still left unseen to so many eyes, and I just want people to have their art seen. I am basically making it my mission to stand up for mental health issues, to stand up for people who need to feel less alone. I've been through a lot in my lifetime, and I don't want people to ever feel the way I had to feel at times, which was most of all it was loneliness. And it's really ironic because right now I am not at all lonely. I have an amazing community that is more than a family to me, and getting to do this, you know, at first I did a lot of projects, and rolling into that, it is already a hard step. So the most difficult step is to get recognized. And what I would suggest you to do is to build up your content, build up your network. In fact, find your own style. That's the first thing we want to do. I really like how you shade using hues that complement each base color. It's really cool work. Thank you, Isabel. In fact, the brush that I use, I saw a question coming in from the brush that I'm using right now is from Kyle Webster. If you're using Photoshop, you can actually download these brushes from the Adobe website. This is the Kyle T. Webster brushes, and this is the pencil 4H that I am using. How do you determine prices that are fair to yourself as a creator as well as a customer? I find it really hard to charge prices that are available to more than just really privileged people and be fair to myself regarding time, energy spent, and well paying rent. Thank you for your answer. Okay, so first of all, this is a hard thing to do. At first I didn't know, and I undercharged myself, and I tell this to as many people as I can, but please guys, do not undercharge yourself and undervalue, because basically what you want to do is you want to check what others are asking for. Let's say we're talking about prints, okay? We're talking about prints. First of all, how much do they cost you? How much does the paper cost? How much does the ink cost? How much does your printer cost? What are your fixed costs per month? And you, of course, you cannot, like, you have no idea what you're going to sell in advance, you know, you cannot have that idea, but you have to know how expensive that your life is. Because in the first place, in order for you to keep going with your work, you need to know what amount of money you actually need in order to keep doing it and to also survive. Because that's the most important thing, because without that, you will not be making a second print. You will not be doing this long term, because you will not be able to survive in the first place. So what you want to do is, first of all, check what other people are asking, preferably in your region, because it's also, like, for instance, I'm living in Europe, and I know that life can be less expensive in other parts of the world, but also more expensive in other other areas, you know. And so I am currently asking, I first asked, I don't know how much, but it was $30 for a commission. That is undercharging, guys. That is undercharging. What you want to what I did at that point was really not valuing my work. I upped my prices, and before I knew it, I had more and more people commissioning my work. Right now, for my prints, I started asking, I think it was around €8, and I'm now asking 20 for my digital, for my full color pieces, and 15 for my lesser colored or like tinier pieces. They are on A5 format. You will have to also be aware of the shipping costs. You have to, you know, a fair price is what is fair to you in the area that you are living in. And you know, you will also know how many hours did you spend on it. Is it something that is made in an hour? Then maybe you shouldn't be charging as much. Is it a unique piece? That is also important. Or is it a series? Is it limited? Can people purchase it for like a long time, or is it undetermined? You know, that's something that you want to be aware of and keep in count. Why Photoshop and not Illustrator? Could you talk a little about the advantages and disadvantages? For me, Illustrator is more like vector based, and that is great for a logo. You can basically make vectors and zoom in and out. Yeah, you know, you can make vectors that can be printed on huge billboards, and they will still be in good quality. I use it only if it is for a project that is like that. You know, I once did a project for the Cancer Fund in Belgium, and they asked me to make a vector and I did that on Illustrator, but most of the time I use Photoshop because it is more versatile, and as an artist you really have you really have that liberty of doing a lot in Photoshop. You know, it's like you're really painting. You don't have that in Illustrator. I have used Autodesk Sketchbook in the very beginning. I did, and it is cool because you have all the copy colors, but it is also very, you know, you're kind of limited in the things that you can do. Like in Photoshop, you have a clone stamp, you can work with lots of layers. I think, I'm not sure, but the layers are limited in Autodesk Sketchbook. I'm not sure. So yeah, I would say it's a good first software to use, but I've also heard great things about Krita and Infinite Painter. So I would look into those as well. I feel like it's necessary for an artist to have one significant style. Could it be good to do several adaptable styles? To have one significant style, you can have different styles. I mean, you should experiment with whatever is whatever rocks your boat, because you're creative and you should be doing whatever you feel comfortable with. If a beginner wants to start selling their work, but not necessarily only via online mediums, what suggestions, ideas would you give in terms of getting more attention, exposure, any old school methods? Old school methods, damn, that's a hard one, because my life is basically, it is online. So I honestly, I actually gave an exposition, so you can look into what the national museums are doing, and if they are doing contests, that is also a very good thing to do, doing contests. I know people who got famous through magazine contests, or yeah, just, you know, even talking about a certain topic can really gain someone's interest. And maybe they are looking for a blogger, for instance, but if you can spread the same message with your art, I think people would be gladly work with you as well. So you may want to do prospection and be like, make the old school cold calls, you know, call companies, and yeah, that's basically what I would suggest. Doing contests, yeah, and calling companies, mailing magazines is also a good one. I will come up with this as we go. So there we go. How long does it take for you to complete a drawing? It can take a really long time. As you see, I love to, that's why I already did a lot of this drawing. I love to answer questions and be part of the community and help you guys. Then I would work on my artwork. That is honestly all that I want to do. All I want to do is for you to be growing and to do what you love as well. By the way, guys, I'm just going to quickly explain what I'm doing here. In order for you to be shading, because that was something that I looked for, I had to go all across the internet, and in order for me to find this question and to find a good solution. So what I'm doing is basically I have my skin layer here. This is the base skin layer, as you can see. On top of that, I did the pink cute blush. And then on top of that, I created a new layer. And this is in Photoshop, by the way, if you are using this as well. But you can also do this if you're working with an iPad on Procreate. You can do this normally in Krita and in Krita and Infinity Painter as well. you create a new layer, and then you right click and create clipping mask. This allows you guys, this is very, very, very easy. This allows you to, so I have my purple here. This allows you to color only in that layer. As you can see, it will not color on the panties layer. It will not color outside the lines here. And as you can see, this is now a very, very purple color. This is the purple that I use, by the way, for, this was the same color that I used here in the panties and in the shirt. So this is a very, very ugly, it's not ugly, but you know what I mean. It isn't supposed to look like that. What I do now is I go and put this on multiply. This actually takes the color, I think it mixes it with the purple that I use, and it kind of makes a new color with it, you know, like mixing it a little bit. And then I put this on 50%. You can also type it in here. It will be easier probably. So 50%. As you can see, I achieved this color now. I hope this also helps you guys, but I really wanted to make sure that I told you this. The software that I'm using is Photoshop, Khadija. Yeah. How did you connect with, meet people who would buy your work? How did you develop, find your unique style, image as an artist and feminist? First of all, I connected with people through Instagram, and that is, like, I started uploading my drawings on Instagram, basically not because I wanted people to see it, because I had no idea how to use Instagram. I was a real noob in that aspect. I just wanted to archive my drawings because I just started drawing again. I went to high school. I didn't receive a degree because actually my teacher at the time was sexually harassing me, and he kind of blackmailed me and told me that if I didn't do what he said, I would not be having this degree. And so I fell into a deep pit of depression, and this was also not my first encounter with sexual abuse or blackmailing or whatever. So I didn't know what to do, and I ended up doing jobs, sucky jobs for me. You know, I cried a lot. I went cleaning, I worked in factories, I worked in retail, I worked in as a waiter. I did so many jobs. My last job was in a call center, and then I started drawing again, actually, because the call center actually was so chill that, you know, you constantly you constantly are saying a script. So at a certain point, you just know this at the top of your head, of course. And yeah, then I started doodling on my notepad without me ever realizing that I started drawing again. And immediately it was that character. So I knew I had to say something. And at a certain point, I started to work on my trauma, on my mental health issues. And I knew that I wanted to draw about it too. And I didn't know that at the time that I started, there was no such thing as having a community, as, you know, it was all just happening. And I was one of the people who also had a community, and people were relating to the things that I drew, because I felt so incredibly lonely in this world, and with no one to talk to or to go to, with no one to help me or to, you know, to just hug me or hold my hand, you know. And I kind of became that own person for me. And that is what my drawings did. And I hope this is what my drawings are doing with many other people as well. That is, so some people have asked me, am I educated? I went to art school, but I'm not educated. I don't have a degree. Thank you guys. I see all these lovely things being said in chat, and you guys are amazing. Thank you so much. So that is why I wanted to focus on my community as well, because I have met so many hurt people and so many people who have been through sexual abuse as well, or childhood abuse. And you know, you were just a child, you were going through so many things already, and it is just not fair. And you're not allowed to talk about it. And through my drawings, I found a community that was equally hurt and in pain, but so warm and amazing. And that is incredible. Yeah. What type of paper do you print on, and type of printer? I'm using a Epson premium printer. I don't know exactly. Oh yeah, is it PP 7700? But before that, I was using an Epson printer that was only like 80 euros. And apart from it being expensive to print, you know, the ink was expensive, the printer itself was really cheap. So you may want to check as well. Oh, okay. I saw a question coming in here that is super interesting from William. William is asking me if I use a texture background and from where. That's a really good question, because I love the paper effect on the drawings, and I came from a traditional drawing. I still do this. So what I did is, and I want to show you that, if I put this on normal, and there we go. You can see this is just an image. This is an image from Google. I don't care where. You can also scan your paper in, you know, texture paper, and just put this on the backgrounds. You put this on lighten underneath all your layers. Where are we? Lighten. Where are you? I cannot see. Oh, there we go. Damn. And I put this on 5%. Okay. And then on the top of my drawing, there it is another layer. And I put this on multiply at 25%. And that is how you create the texture, not only in the background, guys, but also in your illustration. If you paint on it, the texture is coming out as well. So that is really cool if you want to have an effect that looks like you're drawing on paper. Thank you. Okay, let me find another question. At the beginning, how did you get exposure on social media when it's become a pay to play medium? In your opinion, are there still opportunities for organic growth on social? Yes, absolutely. But organic growth has to come from your network. So what I would suggest is if you're looking into, because social media is, for me, it was such an important, oh damn, wrong layer. Hold on guys, just trying to. Okay, there we go. Because social media is something that is still really important and is still really handy when it comes to growing. And but what is important right now is engagement. Like as I say, I am really happy to be here for the community, but it also is necessary. I do want to encourage people to make a Patreon, to do more personal work, and to send a message out to the world that matters. And other things that may help are like doing Q&As every so often, hopping on a live stream, getting to know other artists, yeah, things like that, things that also make you grow a community. Like if you genuinely care about the people that are in your community, more people are going to join. There was a quote in La La Land, guys, and I don't know if you saw this movie, but this is my favorite quote of all times. And even though it's from a movie, it matters, right? And Emma Stone's character actually said, other people love what people love what other people are passionate about. And I think that is the most amazing quote, and nothing was ever more true, guys. And people feel your love, people feel that you care about the people who are in your community. They feel that you are passionate about what you do. And honestly, if you are not passionate about what you're doing, if you are drawing in a certain style that is not really yours, that you don't really feel a connection with, I assure you, you cannot do this for the long run. If you really enjoy doing what you're doing and it is your life's passion, then you will be able to do this for freaking 14 hours per day, and you will not have 1 second the feeling that you're actually working. So that is what I want to say. If you have a certain style, hold on to it. Don't change. Let's see if I have. How do you find transitioning from a traditional medium to digital and back? Do you see any changes in your style? Sometimes I do, actually, Emma. Sometimes I do. When I draw traditionally, I still love drawing traditionally. When I go to digital and back, I don't feel like either one of those is my favorite anymore. Like, I feel like I already, I'm not mastering Photoshop, because let's be honest, it's really a hard program to master. But the thing is, if you found the tools and the brushes that you feel comfortable with, you can already create things in your own style. And it doesn't matter whether you're drawing traditionally or digital. It doesn't matter which tools you're using. I can equally enjoy drawing with a ballpoint pen on a notepad, and it will still look the same. It will just look a bit different, because the one medium, like for instance, you can zoom in on here. You can actually make details in the skin better and more precise than you would do on traditional media. That's for sure. There will be a slight difference, but it will always stay true to your style. Yeah. How long did it take for you to finally feel like you developed your unique voice and style in art? I think I always wanted to talk about something that really mattered, that I knew what I was talking about, which was, for me, mental health, body positivity, and also trauma. I'm suffering from PTSD. I have suffered from depression for many years, still in therapy. And I think with everything I experienced, I need to make good use of that. I don't want to, keep living in despair. I want to do something with it. And I want to help others, and I want to be there and show artwork and show everything in a very positive way, show people that they are not by themselves, that I'm here holding their hands, even if it's virtually. I found this immediately as I recognized people were coming into my account. Yeah. How do you work around imposter syndrome? And is there any point at which you thought to yourself, my work is good enough? Daily, Isabel, daily. I daily think that I am not good enough. And that is, in all honesty, I can preach and do whatever I want, but this is something that I still bump into on a daily basis, every single waking minute. And I kind of have to put this besides me, and that's why I'm doing meditation. And when I'm meditating, I can actually imagine those thoughts, that imposter syndrome being something that is not mine, and I can distance myself from it. So I can draw. And if I'm drawing, at least I'm doing it from my heart and not out of fear of being not good enough, of what if people don't like it, what if it doesn't get that many likes, because that is what social media does to you. But you have to make sure you have something. For other people it's making a walk in the forest, but for me it is meditation that really helps me to distance myself from it. And after that I can draw. I can enjoy my drawings without the fear of, social media and imposter syndrome in general. It does get better at times, but other days I can literally cry myself to sleep if I got hate comments, or other times it doesn't do anything for me. Sometimes I just feel like, oh, what if all of a sudden it goes to waste? What if I'm not good enough? What if people don't like me anymore? What if, because I have been living also in this not being good enough for the world when I was a child. And I think, but other people experience this as well. So I'm not going to hide behind that, but I think it also didn't help. So I'm dragging this along with me through adulthood, but it seems like after I've heard about imposter syndrome being a real thing, it actually also made me feel a bit comfortable knowing that other artists are suffering from that too. Do you have any tips for how to learn the basics of shading and highlighting? Yeah, I want to quickly show this highlighting I do at the top. So actually on top of my line art even, and I'm going to put this on highlight. There's a little dusting here. I am using, so for warm lights, you want to use a light yellow. Light yellow. And I'm just going to show you really quickly, because I normally do this at the end, but I don't think we will ever finish this in this webinar. So you will have to check out my Instagram account if you want that. So this is a warm light. For a cold light, you may want to turn to, pink is also possible, by the way. You can use a pink highlight. You can combine this with either blue or yellow. So for cold lights, cold is blue. So this is the cold light, you see? And this is a bit too dark even. This would be the blue light. You can color dodge this if you want to, and that will create a highlight. If you would do this with the yellow, it will look warmer. That is actually what I'm doing to highlight. There we go. And shading, I already explained with the clipping masks. So I'm just going to, no, I'm going to throw this away entirely. Otherwise it will be a bit difficult for me to know what I did and didn't do. Currently trying to build up my portfolio and create an online persona for my art, but I'm having issue gaining a following. Any ideas to help gain some numbers? First of all, Emmet, I want to tell you, Eric, bye. Thank you so much for jumping in. First of all, following is a really, really weird thing, because you can have 1 million followers and only 1% will, no, wait, I'm explaining this incorrectly. Let's say you have 1 million followers and only 1,000 people are really engaging in your work, like are the ones who are liking your work. Maybe 500 of those are actually purchasing your work. Let's say you have 5,000 followers, 5,000 of them are super active on your account, and 2,500 people are purchasing your work. I would rather have those 5,000 followers than the 1 million. So I want not for you guys to focus on the number, but on the connection, because the connection with people, listening to people, being there, being a friend, being someone actively in their lives is more important than a number. And it is not about the purchases either. It is about the connection, and automatically everything else will follow. You know, there are people who have been supporting me for years now, for years. People who know my ins and outs, people who know what books I read, people who know my family's names, my family members' names, you know, things like that. People who know much about my story. How do you use layer structures? That's a good one. That's a good one. So layer structures, I go with the base layers first. First of all, the sketch, of course. I don't know if I already, oh, I threw it away. Oh no, here it is. This is my sketch. First of all, the sketch layer. On top of that, I go to the line arts. This is the black line art. And then I start coloring in all the different things, like the skin, then there are the lips, the eyes, the hair, the t-shirt, and I painted base colors on each one of them. And then I separately do layers on top of each base area. And I use clipping mask to build up, you know, the fluff and the shading and the highlighting, and I spit on my Wacom One. I'm sorry. Which platform would you recommend to start taking commissions and promote yourself? The Dots, Fiverr. I honestly, I don't know much about them, but I know that ArtStation exists right now. Many talent hunters are on that. Start taking commissions. You can do that on Instagram as well. On social media, you can make a web page yourself. You can also, wait, what was I going to say? Like on Patreon, you can also say like I'm doing a few commissions, because patrons get notified per email. So they know about your recent updates. They are very, very tight in the community, like they are very close to the creator. And on Instagram, you don't, like, you can put off your notification. Of course, you do that on Patreon too, but or you can do that too. But on Instagram, it is more, you get overwhelmed by notifications. So many people put that off. So I would suggest also looking into these. I would not go, I don't think Fiverr is such a good idea, because also undervaluing yourself. I think you are looking to a competition, or the colleagues on there. Yeah, Etsy too, Mareike, thank you so much. Yeah, Etsy is also a very good place to sell your work. You can also sell commissions on there, but Fiverr, you're looking at a competition that sells their work and are making logos for €5. And I do not want you guys to undervaluing yourself. That is not, and I've been, actually this question is something that I get returned a lot, because many people are saying, well, you're using Patreon and you're offering things for $1, but it's not that $1, it's $1 per person. But the more people join, the more I can offer for a little amount of money, and everyone can enjoy the rewards that I'm making, because I'm making it one time for like, let's say 150 people who are paying $1. And that is the same amount as I would ask for one commission. But all of these people can enjoy that and not just one person. So that is also something that you can look into. Do you use swatches? Yes, I do. I have swatches here, and normally my pastel ones are the ones that I'm using most frequently. I also put a little bit more colors here. These are my hair colors. There is a skin color here. So yeah, these are the ones that I'm using most frequently. These are my favorite ones. I use them more than the color wheel, although I think the color wheel in the new Photoshop is actually a very good addition. It crashed at the very beginning, but luckily it doesn't do that anymore. Okay. Let me see. I wonder how you'll get recognized. Sure, there's Dribbble, Behance, social media, but how do you get people and companies paying for your work? Do you write companies? Is that that you can work for them? What do you recommend for artists that can draw and illustrate but weren't recognized yet? I would say there are many people, like I offer, like, let's say shout outs to on my Patreon. You will get seen by all the people on my accounts. There are other artists who often do that too. There are like, yeah, sometimes other artists do this too, or companies are also looking at social media. You can, if you're using a product, like right now I'm using the Wacom One, let's say I'm photographing it and I'm tagging Wacom in the posts, they will reshare it. People on there will see that you are drawing on a Wacom. They will also see if maybe their style fits the thing that they are looking for, and then they will contact you. They will be like, hey, we looked at your work, we would be interested to work with you. You can also introduce yourself. There is like, you can do that, but there is a fine line between introducing yourself and self-promoting, and that is what you want to, because a first impression, you only have that once. So you really need to look into how you do that. The best way I would say is go to other accounts, see if they offer shout outs, like on Patreon, it gets offered a lot, and see if you can network with other people, maybe collaborate with other artists as well. So yeah, maybe, yeah, collaborate is actually a really good idea. Okay. Dun, dun, dun. Oh, I answered Emmett's question. Do you have any recommendations on how to talk to book publishers or find a publisher that wants your work? I would say, Isabel, please contact an agent that works, that wants to work with you. You will make a book proposal, and then they will search for a publisher and they will do the offers. If you're going to a publisher, they will underpay you. That is, in my experience, not something that you want, because a book really takes a very long time. So please contact an agent, and they will look for publishers. They already have their network. You just have to find, like, there are many literary agents out there. There are many people who are searching for the next cool thing on the book market. Mati, thank you. Mati is a regular on my Twitch streams. Yeah, I'm streaming on Twitch too. Thank you, Mati, for telling people about that. He is such a sweetheart. I'm giggling right now. Dora, I'm everywhere I am Planet Prudence. Mati, Muke, oh my gosh. Muke is also, I'm wearing Muke's shirt. He is also an artist, guys. You have to check him out too. He is also on my Discords. If you're a patron, you can connect your Discords to Patreon to Discords. Well, oh, I'm so happy to see you guys. Do you have links to your social media? I think the people from Wacom are going to share those, but you can search, if you're searching for Planet Prudence everywhere, basically you will find me. I am not that active on YouTube, but I am very much active on Patreon, on Instagram, and Twitch. Yeah. Oh, Zan is also a regular on my streams. That's true. More webinars to come? I hope so. Maybe one day, if Wacom would still want me. after bullshitting. No, I'm not bullshitting, true. I hope it really helped you guys. I don't blend. Dance, I don't blend because I love the texture. I love the texture that we have here. It is really great to use. And it's a nice view. It's a nice view. I don't know if you agree to that, but I never ever blend. Being a patron is awesome. Marjolaine, oh, thank you guys. I love you. I love you. What methods do you use to get inspired? That's a very good question, Paula. In fact, if I am not inspired to draw, I let it rest. I don't force myself. I just made a new podcast episode about not forcing creativity. Don't force it. Don't force it. It won't come. And honestly, what I would suggest to do is, I mean, I'm loving meditation. I would say go for it if you want to. Go for a meditation. But it's also, you can also just take a walk in the forest. Scroll to Pinterest if it helps you. Scroll to Instagram. But also another thing that is really, really helpful, if you are inspired and you don't have the time to draw, just hold that idea in a notebook. Take a little sketchbook. Do I have a little sketchbook here? No, I don't. Obviously, I don't. Take a little sketchbook with you everywhere you go and just write down your idea, and even write it in as much detail as you can at that time, how you envision it to be, you know. Oh, thank you guys. Oh, you guys are so sweet. Can the generic Photoshop brushes still do, or one needs a brush pack preset? If you are having Photoshop, the Kyle T. Webster's are, wait, did you say awful? Did I say awful? Did I say awful? I hope it's amazing or awesome. Damn, I'm sorry. Oh, Mike Felix, oh my God. You're giving me a heart attack here. The brush packs, you can download them for free, actually. The Kyle T. Webster's that I'm using right here, you can actually download them for free. If you're already having the Photoshop or Creative Cloud pack, if you're having an Adobe account, you can just download them. Let me see. If you're having any other questions, guys, feel free to ask me. If you're not a patron, then it's awful. You guys are promoting for me. From where did you build your connections? From Instagram? I did from Instagram. I did through events. I did in the beginning, but most of the, like, this is like Marjolaine, Mike Felix. These people have been patrons for me for a very long time already. I kind of know these people as well, I know where they're from. So it's really how your connections are not built like a relationship. It is not built in a day. I gained these people's trust. These people gain my trust. It is a two-way street. It is an amazing engagement on Instagram is decreasing. That is true. Any suggestion how to cope with that? You can still grow. As I said, try to engage with other people. Try to get people to repost your work, maybe, so it gets seen. Like, your work needs to be manually spreaded out in from person to person, and like you would do if you were holding an exposition. Sorry. If you would be holding an exposition, you would be handing out flyers. That's basically what you're doing on social media nowadays as well. So you have to, yeah, ask people that are already in your community, like, please reshare my work so that more people can see this. Please engage, please like my work, please comment on it, because that helps to be exposed also on the Explore page. And, you know, basically right now, people are seeing your content based on the engagement that is on your posts. But if you're posting one post per week and there is not much engagement on that, it is obvious that it is harder to grow than if you would be posting a post every day. Because if you would be posting a post every day, that means that maybe 3 or 4 would be successful and would have lots of engagement. So yeah, make sure to maybe be more consistent in posting as well, and ask people to like and comment on your posts, because that's an important thing. I do a special kind of mandala. My worst fear is being copied from someone. Don't worry about that. People are copying my work, and many other artists are being angry, and I feel like art is no place where you can hold grudges, because it does nothing well for your work. So please don't be fearful of that, because you would be fearful and be held back to create and to get your art out there. And other people who are not copying your work, who are the majority of the people, would not be seeing your work because you would be afraid to post it. So don't do that. Yeah, people will find the original artist anyway. That's true. Would you recognize it? Because yeah, I would recognize it, but I am not saying anything about that anymore, because my artwork and my community need my energy, and I don't want to put my energy into negative situations and negative things. So that is my mindset. I remember a lot about the community too. I'm sorry, I'm going to take a sip. Many artists want to be credited for inspiration, but when that is done, the artists do not acknowledge it. Does that normally happen? Like, not acknowledging was, as you mean, like they don't like your, like, or they are hateful about that? Because I don't know what other artists do, but if someone is reposting my work, I am honestly grateful for that. If I get credited and people are finding their way to my work, yes, please. Yes, please. Yeah, definitely. The recording will normally be available later on YouTube, right, guys? Robert, you stayed the whole thing. Thank you so much. Guys, Robert has been my patron for how many years, Robert? How many years? Thank you. Thank you so much. 2 or 3. I think 3. It gets closer to 3. Thank you for being here, Robert. I appreciate it. Thank you so much, William, for being here, for your questions. I have pages to follow you, to follow me. How do you start a Patreon? Patreon is really easy to set up, but it's also, you need to get the word out there. You need not to be afraid to talk about it, because at first I was afraid. I was petrified. Oh, this was a joke that I had to make. Okay, never mind. At first I was afraid that people would be like, you're asking money and you're not, because I had this lots of the time. You're asking money for like nothing, and of course you're not asking money for nothing, you're giving something back. See, you guys are with me. We're in the same train of thoughts. But don't be worried about setting up a Patreon, about, you know, taking your work into another direction. It is really, really, really important that that you're just doing what you really love. I had stressful moments. I had really angry moments as well, that I didn't even recognize myself, and working on a project and being like totally disrespected. And I even threw my phone, I threw my fist through the wall, and I'm not that person, but it was so too much. It was too much. I cried for days. This person, that was a project that was supposed to take only a month, but they stretched it out over 3 months. They didn't pay me even the amount that we agreed upon. And they called me during the weekends, during my therapy, at 5 in the morning, at 1 a.m. And I was done. And that's when I decided I'm going to fully focus on Patreon, because my community, I want to be there for them. And I don't want to be a nobody for a company. If I have something to say, if I want to help, if I do this with the best intention. Intentions. Well, I almost choked on that one. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. I'm happy that you enjoyed this webinar. I don't even know when I am supposed to stop, actually. I am just guessing. I'm just guessing the people from Wacom are going to give me a signal, or are just going to cut me off. They are going to be like, Prudence, you have to stop.
Prudence, we're not going to cut you off. Don't worry.
I am not going to wrap this up. I am used to streaming for 2.5, 3 hours, so I'm just going to keep going.
All right.
Okay. Well, if you guys have any more questions, please let me know. Please let me know. Let's keep on going then. Well, there we go. Do you have a working routine? How do you stay consistent in your work, knowing that you are your own boss? Rita, it can go 2 ways. Listen, if we're going to stay here for a little while longer, let me just grab my Coke my Coca-Cola, you know.
I think we can easily continue for a little while until, like, say 6:30 or something.
6:30? Okay,
Yep.
Guys. Let's get everything out there. Let's be honest, we're not going to draw much, right? So people here are really amazing. So I'm just going to tell you my secrets. Let's do this. A working routine, Rita, this is really important, because you can go 2 ways. You can go, I'm working, I'm my own boss right now, so I'm going to sleep all day. And there is like the people who are like, I'm working and this is my life now. I am the latter. I'm that person. Most of the times I am waking up. The first thing I'm doing is checking Instagram. The last thing I'm doing before I go to sleep is checking Instagram. And Patreon. Patreon is my holy patrimony. and I check everything. I upload lots of cat pictures on Patreon, by the way, if you're interested in that. I'm sorry for the spam, guys. By the way, for all the patrons who are here, I'm so sorry. But I decided at a certain point, because I am in a relationship, and at a certain point I had to also be there for him. My partner obviously wants me around too. And I decided to hold on to the working hours that are most convenient to me, that are definitely between 8 and 6 in the evening. And then obviously when I do my Instagram post, I do this around 9 or 8:30, 8:39ish. And then obviously I'm still on my phone. I'm still quote unquote working, but I'm there. I'm there. And then he's gaming as well. Like, you know, you need to really work this out, because I used to be that kind of person that would work until 4 a.m. And I talked about this in my latest, no, this is going to be my other podcast. I already scripted that. I schedule everything. I schedule when I'm going to be working on this or that. Sorry, I need to drink. Damn. I schedule everything. Like I have lots and tons of Patreon rewards, and I make sure that everything is done by a certain date. I put this in a to-do list, and I check off everything. When I do this, when I do that, and I know what takes the exact amount of time. Now I'm taking this webinar this month, and I also took a portrait for one of my patrons that he requested and purchased. And you know, I try to fit it in my schedule, and time management is really important. And if you are given 4 hours to do something, you will most likely take those 4 hours to finish your task. If you would have only 2 hours to do that exact same task, chances are very big that you're also going to finish that task. So you have to really be strict and correct for yourself. You really need to tell yourself, if I'm going to do this task, I'm going to do it, and I'm not going to procrastinate. That's really important. How do you stay physically healthy as an artist? Any tips? Probably I'm the worst person to ask. I do a few exercises per day, you know, crunches. I tell myself the first thing I do if I'm waking up in the morning, that's already my first sit-up, right? And then I do a few more later in the day. I have had actually a lump on my leg because I had a really bad chair. This is why I purchased a gaming chair, because that allows me to actually sit for a very long time without getting hurt. Because the lump on my leg apparently was cutting off the bloodstream from my leg, and it would, long term, it would cause me heart failures or heart problems, because the bloodstream, it was not streaming. So yeah, that is really important. Good chair, good posture. I'm not really an example right now because I'm not sitting very well, but it's really important, guys. Really important. You work on your drawing skills between project, figure drawing, still life, drawing in the park. I usually don't draw in the park, only if I go on a walk. I rarely sit down to draw like trees or something. I mainly draw on the couch. I do lots of figure drawing. I also offer reference sheets for like postures or certain things on my Patreon, and actually that also helps me to you know, it's refreshing. It's new, it's refreshing. Would you want to create a little project that lets us workshop watchers? Oh, workshop watchers. I pay too much attention to those words. Create something for or with you in order to connect, showcase, and making a collab. Isabel, that is why I did the shout outs on my Patreon. It has a limited amount of slots, but everyone can join. And there are people coming in and out every month. So there is definitely, I also offer, but those slots are all taken in, you know, are all taken, offer to make comics with me on my Patreon. So that is, I really, really do a lot, pay a lot of efforts to showcase other artists' work. Yeah, so make sure to check it out if you are interested in that. It is really, really cheap in comparison to what other people are asking, because I don't want to ask a lot of money for that. I don't even, like, I offer other things on the side too, apart from the shout outs. You will get also the reference sheets and, you know, access to many other things. So yeah, of course. Can you talk about feminism as well? Of course. Tell me, what do you want to ask? What do you want to know? Obviously, yeah. Sadly, parks don't have coaches. Sadly, they don't. The seats are really hard in the park. They do have grass though. What do you do if your style is too much or too little? More of a niche than an example trends. Than for example trends. Oh wait, what do you do if your style is too much or too little? More of a niche? Oh, that's amazing. If it's more of a niche, I mean, what is my style? It is not something that you see, like, it's not a certain style that you can pick out from, you know, from a big crowd. You know, it is not mainstream style. I would say it's not really cartoon. It's not illustration. It's not either one of those. So what is it? It is not really comics, because I'm not making a big comic. You know, I'm not like working for DC or anything. So it is great if it's a niche. The right people will find you. That is awesome. If you're doing that, please keep doing it. Please keep going for it, and make sure to get the word out there. Yeah, guys, feel free to post your links in the chat. Also, if you are sending me messages on Patreon, I am absolutely sure that I will see them. So yeah, make sure to let people know about your work. How do you live out feminism? I know you do it in your art, but what else? Oh, I understand your question. Actually, feminism is a really misunderstood term. It is all about equality. And if you would want for a woman what you would want for a man, then that is feminism. If you don't want the woman in the kitchen, or let's say, like we had years back, that was like a standard. And I live that out. It doesn't, like, it is not, I don't have to clean in my house because my partner can do that too. And he doesn't have to clean because I can do that too. You know, those things, it is really about equality. It's not about, yeah, it is not as radical as we think. It is just equality. It is being kind. It is like, it's not about shaving or not shaving your legs. The radical, I don't know if radical is a word, actually. I hope it is. Yeah, guys, I don't know if you guys have any other questions. If you want me to show something. Oh, grayscale. Marta, grayscale is actually, if I put this image and mode to grayscale, well, then nothing happens. Does it? Oh, wait, there it is. Oh, I would have, no, don't merge. Skirts. There we go. This is grayscale. This is grayscale. So this is black and whites. This is the grayscale. You can, some people use it to shade, to, you know, make a 3D look out of their illustration, or, but I don't use that. I don't use that. Love your explanation, Prudence. I feel the same way and just wanted to check. Thank you, Dolira. That's awesome. How do you find the prices of your work? How do you value it? I already answered this question, Rita. I want to answer it really shortly for you again. But you can always rewatch the webinar on YouTube afterwards if you want the bigger explanation. But basically, you need to value it based on what your expenses are and what you think is the right price and what you feel is the right price in order for you to keep going. That is basically what it comes down to. Can we share your work on mental health pages by tagging you on Instagram? Absolutely, absolutely. My work is your work. Absolutely. If you're tagging me, that is very much fine. Did Wacom find you through your streams on Twitch or through Instagram? I think we found each other on Instagram, but I will have to think. I think I asked them a question about which tablet I should be using. And then I was really blunt, I think. And I was like, oh no, I don't think I was blunt actually. I don't know. I cannot remember, but it was through Instagram. Do you draw with the Wacom or do you start with the sketchbook? It depends. I sometimes sketch on my tablets and sometimes I do still do a lot of traditional too. Yeah, I do that too. If tag you will like. If I see it, absolutely. Absolutely. Normally I see it. It can take a while though. I'm not really that good. I try to answer as much DMs as I can. So yeah, how can I start freelancing as I'm a beginner and trying to figure out my style? That is also a really good question. First, figure out what you want to do. Do you want to work for companies? Do you want to also set up a Patreon? Do you want to have a web shop? Do you want to offer merch, maybe? Then find out what you want to do. Find out your art style first and hold on to it. Or maybe you know, you can always twist and tweak things as you go. But most of the time I see people changing art styles like after they already gained a community, and most times, like sometimes I do that too, like working traditional, it will digital, it will also change my style a little bit, but I still hold on to the same figurine is a figurine, you know, character. And you hold on to the message, and yeah, it is really important that you do that, because if you already build a community and they are loving you for your message and for your character, it doesn't have to be the same character, by the way. Like if you're doing portraits, that's fine too. But find out what you want and find out your style, the tools that you're going to use. You can experiment as you go, but you also have to always stay true to what you stand for. That is the most important thing. That's basically in a nutshell what I wanted to say with this whole explanation. Would you be okay with me featuring your art in an online magazine with credits, of course? If it would be for like a weekly thing, I don't think that would be okay, because that would be copywriting and printed. But it would be okay if it would be for an interview, because with the printing of the comics, that would probably be harmful for my book. Yeah, I'm working on a book, and the publishing of the book does not allow comics to be published anywhere else. So that will probably be an issue, but it's okay if it would like be surrounded with an interview about my work, for instance. So yeah, I'm doing live streams throughout the week. Yeah, but that's on Twitch. So this webinar is like a one-time thingy. Rarev, I already answered this question. A day of work is for me from 8 till 6 in my office, or sometimes before noon. I also spend it drawing in the living room. And then after 6, I eat and I go on Instagram and post and connect with people a little bit more. Let me see. When you were taking consistent client work, how did you find your clients? How did you create a consistent and dedicated client base? I created a consistent and dedicated client base mainly through my portraits. I would say portraits is really, really the best way to go to, and not really, you know, you don't, if you're having a job with a magazine, for instance, chances are that it is going to be a one-time thing, and maybe they will contact you again at a later points, or like in a few years, but you're not going to, I at least never had this happening. It was constantly from project to project. Oh, that's a really good question. Should we work in CMYK or RGB? Does your printer take RGB to CMYK? How to get the colors we want? Do you use codes to get perfect colors? Okay, you should work for prints CMYK. I am now working in RGB, but I'm going to convert this to, is it CMYK? No, I'm working in RGB, I think even. Wait, I'm not even sure now. It is RGB that I'm working in. My printer takes both. I'm just going for the colors that I want, but I know that my printing service that I use for the postcards, they take CMYK. So you want to check that out. Oopsie, I'm sorry guys, my connection is there. We go. We're still going, but my phone is at 20%. So that is, yeah, it says RGB. Yeah, we are working on RGB here apparently. I used to work only in CMYK though, but that was I don't know. Oh, that was on my old computer. For some reason, it turned into RGB right now. But I know when you send them to the printing service, you might want to have them in CMYK for them to retrieve the best colors. But for me, RGB works best because the colors are more vivid. I'll finish the series on YouTube where I would find it. You will find it at Wacom's channel, and they will also link all my information below. If you damn it, choked on that one again. We will, okay, hold on. I'm losing your question in chat. You will also, like, if you want to stay updated about my work, you can also find me on social media on via Planet Prudence. Just look at Planet Prudence. I answered your questions a few times. Please don't spam the chat, guys. Karina, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate your follow. Ambrose, I already answered that question. To find your own style. If you missed that, you can always rewatch it because I have to cut this one short. I mean, not short. We stayed longer than we were allowed to. Yeah, I think the Wacom people may want to grab some dinner, and I may want to have some dinner as well. Guys,
before your phone dies, right?
My phone, oh yeah, but besides that too, my phone is dying too. Oh, imagine that. No, I would be sad. Thank you guys so much for being here. I appreciate it a lot. And you can find me, I think, Wacom people, you guys will tell the people how to find me, right? Or do I
Oh,
have to?
yes, we will. We will. We will.
Okay, perfect. Thank you guys, everyone, for joining me. It was amazing. Thank you for all the love coming up in the chat. I really, really loved being here with, wait, let me check. It was constantly 160 people in this chat. That was amazing. Thank you. Thank you guys so much. I love you. I'm sweating like a pig probably, but thank you, thank you, thank you. Bye,
Thank you.
guys.
Thank you, Prudence. Thank you so much for this fantastic, entertaining, very informative evening with you.
Thank you.
I enjoyed it tremendously, and you could tell by the questions coming in that people were very, very engaged and very curious to find out more about you, about your art, and how you work, and what they can do to increase their visibility across platforms and stuff like that. So I think it was a really, really, really good webinar. So thanks
Yeah, I
again for being
agree.
here.
Thank you so much for having me. I enjoyed it so, so, so much. And thank you for everyone for being here, for being
Yes.
so active. What the hell?
Thanks to everybody who joined us today. You were a great crowd. It was very, very fun to watch you engage. This is, as we promised, the links and handles to the social media accounts. So do follow Planet Prudence across the different platforms. Do also check out, if you want, our Wacom channels. If you now are inspired and you want to go drawing and share your artwork, do yourself a favor and hashtag it with Made with Wacom, so our teams can pick it up as well and give you a little bit of a shining light for stuff that catches our eyes and makes a difference. And yes, as I mentioned at the beginning, if you want to upgrade your gear or you're curious to find out more about Wacom products, do have a look at our website or our eStore and use the promo code WEBINARPRUDENCE to save up to 15% on various products that might actually be worthwhile checking out. Yes, once again, thanks everybody for joining. Thanks, Prudence, for holding this
Thank
fantastic
you.
webinar. We will probably see more of you also popping up on our channels. And as
I
mentioned,
hope so.
oh yes, oh yes. And there will be an email coming out your way with follow-up and link to video and additional information for the few questions that we did not address. Again, enjoy your evening and see you soon at our next webinar. Thanks very much, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Ciao, ciao.